Welcome to this presentation on the play This Time Tomorrow by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. As we know, he is a Kenyan writer. He was born in 1938 and he was a prolific, versatile Kenyan writer of Gikuyu descent. His original name is James Thiong'o Ngugi and he began his literary career in English, but later by his anti-colonial ideology and intellectual standpoint that led him back to his own Gikuyu language, his tribal language. He considered English as a cultural bomb. That's why he changed his English name to Gikuyu language. And he is the founder and editor of Gikuyu language journal Muthiri. His popular novel Weep Not Child, which was published in 1964, was the first major novel in English by an East African. His main works include novels Weep Not Child, published in 1964, The River Between, 1965, A Grain of Wheat, 1967, Petals of Blood, 1977. An important plays The Black Hermit, 1963, This Time Tomorrow, 1970. His essays include Homecoming, Decolonizing the Mind, The Politics of Language in African Literature, Pen Points, Gun Points, and Dreams. His memoirs are Detained, a writer's prison diary, Dreams in a Time of War, a childhood memoir, In the House of the Interpreter, a memoir, Birth of a Dream Weaver, a memoir of a writer's awakening. So these are the main works by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. We come to a discussion of the play This Time Tomorrow. It is published in 1970 as a collection of 3 plays, having this play as the title play. And this play sets in Uhuru Market in Kenya, a slum area near Nairobi. And the time is after independence, after Mau Mau rebellion and all those independence struggles. The play is a one-act play. The title signifies it is an impression of things to come in the lives of people in Uhuru Market. So the dilemma, the uncertainty of their lives. So what is about their future? Where will be they this time tomorrow? So those uncertainty, absurdity of life are discussed in this play. And the playwright portrays several issues that led to protest in Uhuru Market. And the protest is one of the main themes in this play. And it speaks of betrayal, alienation, colonial legacy, introduction of new culture, the Western culture, class discrimination, high class people and the slum area people, tribalism, power from white settlers to indigenous authority. All these things are discussed in this play. Character analysis. The central character is Nyango. She is a central character as well as the custodian of tradition and culture. She is a tribalist and she stands for tribal purity, tribal values, and social and cultural exclusivism. She is the protagonist and she runs a soup shop, and she is called by the customers as mother of all men. Mother of men because she feeds the people in the slum area. She is the mother of Wanjiro, who is about to leave her in favor of her lover. She is a Western ideologist. She is a widow since her husband was killed in the forest during the Mau Mau movement. And she believes in tribalism, the purity of tribal. She is against tribal intermarriages. That's why she is against her own daughter Wanjiro, who wants to marry from another tribe. She is abandoned by her daughter Wanjiro, who decides to elope with Asinjo. She wants or advises Wanjiro to be careful with city boys. Another character is the stranger. He stands with slum dwellers. He is considered as the voice of the voiceless. He raises his voice for the well-being of the slum dwellers. He makes them aware of humiliation they suffer and exploitation they undergo and the demolition of the slums about to come. He is aware that in order to succeed, there should be strong determination and unity. He was deceived by the people while facing police. At the end, he was arrested by the police. He believes in unity, not in magical power. The slum dwellers believed that he can use the magic power to blind the eyes of the city council. He stands for the unity of the people and he considers unity as the magic power in order to prevent the alien forces or the Western policies. The next character is Wanjiro. She is the daughter of Nyango. She has not been sent to school due to her brother and poverty. His brother was sent to school by her mother and there was utter poverty. Due to poverty and financial crisis, she had not been sent to the school. She loves Azinjo. Azinjo is a man from another tribe and especially from city, and she wants to marry him, but she faces protest from her mother. She is fond of city life. She is unhappy with the poor life living in the slums, and she wants to go with Azinjo. She admires wearing like white people and walks like European ladies. She finally goes to marry Azinjo. Next one is journalist. He reports different events in the society. It is he who connects the scenes. For example, government's decisions to demolish the slums, people's reaction against demolition of the slums, all these things are reported by the journalist, and it is connected through the player. The entire play is connected through series of events. The entire play is set in the character of journalist. He is not among the slum dwellers. Next one is shoemaker. He is one of the slum dwellers, illiterate and never knows about his age. He was among the freedom fighters in the forest. He earns living through repairing of shoes. He protests against the new government's discussions to demolish the slums. Inspector Kiyongo. He works with the city council health department. It is he who announces the government's decision to demolish the slums in the Uhuru market, as well as to the time to evacuate the people. He commands the people in Uhuru market to move away, and he believes, and he is a staunch supporter of clean city campaign, and he believes in demolishing all the slums. And once he lived in the slums, he was part of the slum people, and he stood with the slum people before the independence, but later he joined the authority. Azinjo is a young man from another tribe, especially from city. He loves Wanjiro and wants to marry her. He was chased away and insulted by Nyango because she is a tribalist and she never wants her daughter to marry Azinjo, who is from another tribe, especially from city. He has true love towards Anjiro. He is a man of hard work and becomes a taxi driver at the end. He elopes with Wanjiro at the end, leaving Nyango alone. So the summary of the play. The play is organized in one act. The scenes break by the conversation between a journalist and the editor. The journalist finishes typing and rereads it. The new government of their fellow backed leaders betrays the mass, especially the freedom fighters, examples like Nyango's husband, stranger shoemaker. He explains how the city council has executed evacuation of the Uhuru market. Uhuru market is near bus terminal, usually a busy slum area. He speaks of clean city campaign. We are told of Nyango and Wanjiro, who live in a shack in the slum. They sell soup to their customers and they live by it. Wanjiro is really fed up with the routine works and the poverty, and the poor living conditions where she lives, and she longs for city life. Nyango stands for tribalism, while Vanchuro stands for modern life. There we find the contrast between Western ideals and the typical conservative tribalism. Vanchuro wants to live with Asinjo, who is from another tribe, who is from a city. The journalist continues with his narration as people begin waking up. The inspector Kiyonko, who belongs to a city council health department, announces the evacuation of slum area. He puts forward a deadline for the people to move away from that particular area. The stranger says the city belongs to slum people. Stranger had led the delegation to the city council in order to avoid the evacuation. The crowd enters with posters and stranger addresses them. The crowd believes that the people of some slum area believes that he has some magical power, and with that magic he can rescue the people. He says there is no magic to rescue them except unity. The police appear and all the people run away. The stranger unsuccessfully tries to call them back, but they never come back. He was arrested for violence and civil disobedience. Inspector Kiyonko announces the deadline for evacuation. Nyango rejects Vanjuro's plan to marry Asinjo, but they elope to the city. Vanjuro leaves Nyango and goes with Asinjo to the city, and she is alone in the shack. Nyango is left desperate, and Kiyongo tells Vanjuro to hurry up and leave. So the deadline is over. Kiyongo hurries up Nyango to leave the place. She leaves the place. Nyango's final words are, "They are herding us out like cattle. Where shall I go now tonight? Where shall I be this time tomorrow? If only we had stood up against them. If only we could stand together." So this is the summary of the play. The themes of the play. The important theme is protest. The play as itself is a protest against Western ideals, the intrusion of Western ideals and the modern life in the orthodox, conservative, tribal life of the African people. It was caused by dissatisfaction that people have as a result of injustice shown by the government. They were betrayed by their own government, indigenous government. They protest against the new culture, ways of life introduced by the whites. For example, Nyango protests the idea of Vanjuro of behaving like the European lady, such as to have a handbag, high-heeled shoes. Nyango protests against intertribal marriage. For example, she refutes the relationship between Vanjuro and Asinjo. So the theme of protest is seen all through these characters. There is a protest from the slum people, protest from the stranger. So throughout the play we find the theme of protest. Tribalism. Tribalism is caused by conservatism among some people in the slums. This can be due to illiteracy or ignorance. Tribalism is seen when Nyango refuses her daughter to marry Asinjo because he is from another tribe. More than that, he is from city. She is afraid of city people. She humiliates him by calling him betrayer and jobless. Nyango says, "With that man, a man from another tribe, a man without a job, no child of mine from my own flesh will sell her body." This indicates some deep-rooted elements of tribalism existing in Kenya and other countries. Betrayal. Many African freedom fighters were betrayed by those who took power from colonists. There was no drastic change from pre-independence period and post-independence period. Those who enjoyed the authority They exploited the people. The marginalized has been always marginalized. The poor people has been always poor people. The majority have been betrayed by the minority rulers. The Inspector Kiongo has betrayed the slum dwellers because he was with the slum dwellers. Once he lived in the slum area, and he was with the slum people. But after independence, he joined the side of the authorities. Wanjira betrays her mother by running away and leaving her desperate and leaving her alone. The stranger is betrayed by the slum dwellers. When the police came, the entire people left stranger alone in front of the police. Another theme is superstition. As we define superstition, it is the belief that particular events happen in a way that cannot be explained by reason or science. This is a common problem among many African societies. They believe that the stranger has the magic power that can blind the eyes of the city council officers not to evacuate them from their slums. So they believe in the magic power of the stranger rather than their own unity. So they don't believe in the unity. They don't believe in their own integrity, their own power, but they believe in the magic. So they expect a magical effort from the stranger. The first customer says, "Why don't we hold a meeting with the stranger? He works in magic. Will he not blind their eyes?" So this is about the superstition. How is pre-independence Kenya depicted in this play, This Time Tomorrow? The playwright tells the struggles of Mau movements or rebellion for the independence. Shoemaker says, "We were fighting for freedom. We were fighting for our soil." The stranger and shoemaker, they were arrested and sent to detention camps during the independence struggle. All these things are detailed in this play. The husband of Nyanko, he was the best example for the pre-independence struggles, and he was shot dead. It is clear from the play. And he has been a freedom fighter, and he dreamt of a Kenya having full freedom. The post-independence Kenya is depicted in This Time Tomorrow as a contrast between the dream of freedom fighters and the actual events that has been happening in the Uhuru market. Freedom fighters had the disillusion of better life, shelter, education. They fought for freedom, and they fought for better education, better shelter, food, and better life. The martyrdom of the heroes went in vain. The new government of native people betrayed the poor people. Freedom fighters were thrown away. Examples like Shoemaker and the stranger. They were never given a chance. They were never given priority in the new post-independent Kenya. Minority leaders enjoyed authority and wealth, and the majority of people were in slum area. Shanty towns, slums, Uhuru market, this is the situation of post-independence period of Kenya. Government stands for modernization and Western culture. They were after Western ideals. So they were not given priority to the poor people, the marginalized people, and they kept the marginalized people as the marginalized. Cities were furnished with Western styles of life. There were separate townships for white people. The people in the slums at Uhuru market, they were in poor conditions. The environment was totally filthy. The government has forgotten them despite the important role played in fighting for Uhuru. Humiliation and dehumanization. There were several instances of humiliation or dehumanization from the part of government itself. Thank you very much for listening me. Thank you.